Good evening and welcome. This is Stephen Rowlands speaking. Could somebody comment, please? If Stacy, you could let me know that you're here, then maybe we'll be able to sort out. I do have the option to invite you. Hang on, let's try and invite. It's not letting me add guests, Stacy. I'm on my phone. Wait a minute. It says the person's unable to join because of technical issues. Oh, wait a minute. Bring them on camera. I think it's something's Facebook's end, Stacy. So I don't know quite what we can do. Okay. I might have lost now. Should have done this on Zoom, really, shouldn't we? Right. Okay. All right. I'll try one more time to bring you on camera. It's saying it's not letting me add you for technical issues. All right, but I think I'm going to be an old trooper and I will just carry on. Stacy, if you have any questions to ask me, oh, wait a minute, you requested, right. Oh, you're coming on, brilliant.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Oh, what crazy day!
Okay, yeah, you can't beat a technical hitch, can you? All right.
No, you can't, can you? But we're here now. Hello, and sorry everybody. That was a crazy 5 minutes. It did ask me to update my latest Facebook. Apparently, I didn't have the latest Facebook app on my tablet. Ironic.
Okay.
Okay. So guess what? I'm
Yeah,
on
I'm
my
on my
phone
phone
too.
now. So yeah, I did try my laptop, but because I could see myself on the screen, but I had to scroll down for the comments. So I thought I wouldn't see the comments if I was on my laptop. So yeah. Okay.
Crazy.
I'm all
How
right
are
now.
you,
I'm all
Stephen?
right. I'm settled. I've been sort of like nervously anticipating tonight. So
I know you said earlier, and I thought, oh, what's he worried about? But it was just spirit letting us
yeah,
know there was
yeah,
going to be
that's
a few
it. Yeah,
technical
I
issues.
always get nervous no matter what. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, work with that your
yeah.
nervous energy. It's cool, isn't it? So. Thank
Well,
you
thank you for
so much
inviting
for
me.
joining
Yeah.
us. I like people to know people, so I want the guys that you read for to know about you, Stephen, and how did you go, take us back to the start, take us back, way back when you started noticing there was more to life than what we saw in front of us. When did you first become aware of
Going
spirit?
back way to 1963, I was around 3 years old, and this is my first memory, okay, of a connection. And it was Boxing Day, and we lived in a Victorian house in Datchet that's now been pulled down. And me and my cousin were watching Jack and the Beanstalk in black and white on telly, and the rest of the family were in the parlour bit, and they were still eating and drinking and what have you. And I just had this vision of in my mind's eye, my bed being on fire. Okay, and of course I didn't understand what it meant. And in the end, it got to me, and I said to my cousin, "My bed's on fire. My bed's on fire," like that. And he said, "Don't be daft. It's my cigarette." Okay, and I made such a fuss. My dad went up to me and my little brother's bedroom, and my blankets were half on the bed and half off, but there was an old oil heater next to it, and it caught light, and my bed had started, the sheet blankets had started smoking and smouldering and that. So my dad sorted it out, put it out. But I've always been aware of energy. You know, I've never really been able to see spirit except in my mind's eye, but I sense energy, and I've been sensing energies around me throughout, and I would have sort of like loads of different dreams, and sometimes I'd know what was going to happen in the future to me personally and things like that. There was just loads of little things. Till in the end, I thought, well, there must be a purpose to this, you know. And I thought, I need to find a spiritualist church, but I didn't know where to look. And we're coming up to 1978 now, and I went to work for Heart Service Shops in Langley, and the electrician there was vice president of Slough Spiritualist Church, as it's known now. It was Manor Park Christian Spiritualist back in the day. And he started talking to me about spiritualism. So I didn't sort of mention any of my experiences, but I started asking him questions, and he was giving me answers. And then eventually, he said to me, why don't you come down to the Spiritualist Church? I thought, well, hang on a minute, you could rig something up for me here. And so I was going to go, but I didn't tell him when. And New Year's Day 1978 was the first time I ever walked into a Christian spiritualist church. And I even remember the mediums that was on. It was the Zeeleys. They were trance. Well, she was the trance medium, and he worked as a powerhouse. And I weren't really that impressed, but I was impressed with the friendliness of the place. And then after the service, a little old lady called Ada come up to me. She'd been the resident medium there for 40 years. And she gave me a message. It was so accurate. It was unbelievable. So I thought I must investigate this. But as I was getting answers to questions, I just felt like I wasn't going mad. I didn't need a psychiatrist. And
Yeah.
I was meeting other people like me. So I felt right at home there. And I started going on a Wednesday night and a Sunday night. And mediums were standing up on the platform saying, you could be a healer, you could be a medium. So Brian North, he was sort of like the chiefy healer. And what we'd go and do, because they had their own little healing sanctuary, we'd go in there and I'd channel the energy for Brian and his spirit guides to give the person healing. And from then come diagnosis, and people said they could feel my hands on them, even though I was sitting sort of like 6 feet away. And then I was invited into a circle. And I sat in 3 circles altogether. It's a long story, Stacey. I hope I'm not boring anyone. But
I love hearing people's stories.
So
tell me.
The first circle was run by Marjorie and Don Jackson. And that was the first circle I ever went into trance. People ask me how I got into trance, but I just sort of stumbled into it. Yeah, quite naturally with their guides, with their spirit team. And there was me, Marjorie, Don, and there was another couple, and I can't remember their names. Okay. But the couple, the gentleman, the base of his spine was crumbling. He had this big belt on, surgical belt on, and he had to have gold injections in his spine. And anyway, it was one of them circles where you just sit down and clear your mind and see what happens and see what spirit give you. So anyway, I was sitting there one night. This was about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months later, and I hadn't really received nothing. But over that period of time, I felt like I wanted to lean forward and backwards and from side to side. And my legs, I was just going with it. They weren't being moved by spirit, but I just felt like I had to. You know what I mean? It was like energy and all the rest of it. So anyway, Don was sitting opposite me to my right, and this one night I just looked at him and his head disappeared, and there was a Native American head. Then there was a nun. Then there was a Chinaman. Now, not forgetting, this is the first time I've ever seen this sort of thing. We now know it as transfiguration, don't we? But I was going, I was getting a bit nervous and trying to look like a roughy tufty 18-year-old, you know. But all of a sudden my breathing started getting deeper and deeper and deeper until in the end I felt about that big within myself. And I had no control over myself. All right. This energy, whatever it was, had control over me. So I could hear Marjorie saying, have you come in peace? And he moved my head like that to say no. And so I'm within myself going, what the hell's going on here? And I'm trying to sort of like get conscious and back, but I couldn't. And then she said to him, have you come to give healing? And he went like that. And she said, who have you come to give healing to? So he pointed me up, pointed my arm to the guy that was with a crumbling spine, and he stood me up. I could see, even though I felt that big within myself, I could see outside. You know what I mean? I could just see outside of myself. And as we were moving towards him, all these colours were shooting out my solar plexus and my fingers. There was yellows, greens, reds, blues, pinks, purples, a whole bit. They were just shooting at him. I don't know how long that lasted, but the colours sort of like faded and I was put back in my chair and I was allowed to come back to consciousness. And Marjorie told me that that was my Zulu warrior guide and his name was Zangu. And he'd been waiting since before I was born to work with me. Okay, so
wow.
I was a bit shaken up by it all, but in the end he became quite well known at Manor Park Christian Spiritualist Church because he used to work through me to give healing to people. But because I had no knowledge of spiritual protection and closing down, he used to take me any old out. You know, I had this girlfriend at the time. I was going out with a girl at the time. And one minute she was talking to me, the next minute she's talking to Zangu. So, and what happened there, I went into another circle because Frank, the then church president, invited me into his circle. But that was sort of like, that was again another sit down, shut up and see what happens. And but one real memory of that, I've got two real memories of that circle, is I could hear a woman singing a hymn in the kitchen. Now I'm not clairaudient. I get clairaudience once in a blue moon. But I could hear this woman clearly singing Abide With Me from the kitchen area. And anyway, I gave that off. And the next memory I have, Spirit urged me to sort of like lay in the centre of the circle with my feet together and my arms out either side. And I didn't know what that was. Nobody could tell me. And not until I got into my third circle, and Berenice, my teacher, explained to me that that's the universal sign for humility. Okay, so that's how that was going. But during that period of time, as I hadn't been taught how to open and close, I was getting dreams. Okay, and it was dreams where I was falling back into my body, and if people are aware, or I read it, but you do come back, and it's a massive shock to the body. And you sort of leap up out of bed, and I could see as I was falling back into my body, I could see this demonic face. Okay, and I fell back into my body, big shock, everything like that. One night I woke up floating above my bed physically. Okay, and this went on for a few months, and well, one night there was sort of like a solid oak chest of drawers just the opposite side of the bedroom. To my bed, and I woke up there. I woke up on the floor one night, kicking the hell out of this oak chest of drawers, and I actually smashed the drawers in. So that shows you the force of what I was trying to get away with and that. So my parents then were on to me about seeing a psychiatrist and everything like that. Okay, and I was worried, am I going nutty? Am I going mental? And it came to this one night where I was working at Bryce White's then, and I passed my forklift driving test. And like any young man who passes a test, I went to the pub across the road and got a bit inebriated, as you do. And what I didn't know was drink opens you right out to spirit, because it's a depressant. So I was wide open to spirit. Anyway, I drunkenly got into bed, and again I was falling back into my body, and I could see this demonic face. But next to me bed was, the old cabinet style record players. It was a cabinet with a record player in
Yeah.
it, and speakers each side. I'd inherited
Yeah.
it from mum and dad because they bought a new thing. And I woke up wedged between the bed and the record player, and somebody got hold of my head, pushed my head down, and the corner of the record player went up through there. This is why I'm so hot on spiritual
Wow.
protection. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
they're not there now, but these three teeth were sort of like wired in, and a lot of the teeth were put back in. I spent 6 months in dental clamps. But the funny thing about that was my dad took me to hospital, and there'd been a fight in one of the local nightclubs, and they thought I'd been involved, the police thought I'd been involved in this fight. And my dad's telling them, no, he's had a nightmare, like that. But because I was drunk, they couldn't put me out or anything like that. And anyway, um, we we got back home, everything like that. This was a Saturday night. On the Sunday night, I went back to South Spiritualist Church with 13 stitches in my chin and a face out here, badly bruised, and nobody said a word. Okay? Until Nancy and Ken come up to me and they said, have you ever seen a medium called Berenice Watts working? And I said, yeah. And Berenice is a trance medium. And sitting there watching her working, I always felt I'd have something to do with her. You know what I mean? It's just one of those, you just feel you're going to do something, and
Yeah.
so I said, yeah, I know Berenice. And they said, well, she runs a discussion group in Brightslip. Would you like to come along? So I went along to the discussion group in Brightslip with Nancy and Ken. And well, I was about 19 then. And I felt like a bit young and stupid because the youngest there was sort of like 30 odd. And I felt a bit silly, But they had a good discussion, and I just sat there with my mouth shut. And I was introduced to Berenice afterwards. Nancy and Ken said to Berenice, can you help Steve out? He's got a few problems like that, which I thought was brilliantly kind of them. Because they never said what they intended to do. And she took one look at me and she said, it's going to take more than 5 minutes to sort you out. Come round my house next Wednesday. Right, with her and her husband. So off I put the following Wednesday on my little 125. And she explained to me all about opening to spirit, closing to spirit, protection, about the mind being like a camera, everything like that. And she invited me into her circle. Now, that circle for me was like jumping from infant school to university. And I learned so much. In the
Yeah.
9 months that circle run, I learned so much. And because she was a trance medium, trance would be part of the development. And
Yeah.
as well as like doing tarot and crystal ball and mediumship, she was sort of like teaching us, platform mediumship. But she'd put pictures in envelopes, and we would have to tell her what was in the picture. And if it was people, we'd have to sort of like get messages from them and all the rest of it. And sand reading, loads of different things we covered. Um, through that through that sand reading, I actually gave a spirit guide a message. Because what happened was we got the sand out this other night, and Ian, which was Berenice's husband, he channeled his spirit guide's energy into the sand, and I read off the energy. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and all I could see was like this big temple with a silver light around it. Okay, and when I gave that off, he was a Buddhist monk, but they used to call their monastery or temple, whatever they call it, a temple of silver light. Okay, so that was that. Anyway, as I said, that circle went for about 9 months, and I suppose I was about 20 then, and it finished because they moved to Crawley. It was too far away to commute. So the next 2 years, I didn't really do a lot. And I was going to church and everything like that. And then till one day, the guys coming along and said, we want you to do platform work. And I went, no, I'm not ready. So this was going on for quite some time. Do platform work, no, I'm not ready. And in the end, it became like Ghost, you know, where they're sort of, I remember in the 8 it become constant sort of thing. And in the end, I said, right, I'll do it just to shut you up. And if I look stupid, it's all your fault. Okay. So in the days before email and Facebook, I wrote to churches. And funny enough, I did my first service January the 5th, 1983 at Manor Park Christian Spiritualist Church. And I wrote to other churches and they would give you cancellation work, right? You know, if they were desperate, they would try you out. And that led on to recommendation. And here I am today.
Wow. Just wow. You know what I mean, when I talk to mediums, transmedium, whatever medium, whoever we work, because we all work differently, everybody has such a fascinating story. But what I find is that we all seem to follow a very similar path. You know, how most of us see spirit as a small child, but things aren't explained to us. The sadness in everybody's story, yours included, is the lack of knowledge that's passed on in these circles. You know, you weren't pushed. It was sit down, shut up, and let's just see what you're given by spirit. No teachings, you know, that in itself is
I
such
think
a
it's a
shame,
real
don't you
shame,
think?
especially today. They just sit there giving messages. But I was lucky with Berenice's circle because each we I learned how to control Zangu in that circle. But also each spirit guide would be given a different subject to speak on. Okay, and the philosophy would come out there, or Ian would bring Lee through, who now works with me, funnily enough, and he would give us a little talk, and we would sort of like ask questions and debates. And the beautiful thing about it is, Stacy, you'd end up disagreeing with him, right? Yeah, you'd disagree, but by the beautiful way that Spirit teach, he would bring his point of view forward and you'd come back with something. But in the end, you'd end up agreeing with them. They brought you round to the answer through discussion. It's absolutely brilliant the way they do it. So that is why now, when I do trances, it's not to give people messages. It is to bring, like me, Red Cloud through, give a talk, and if anybody wants to ask any questions, he will answer them. You know, because I think knowledge is really lacking today within that, under the whole umbrella of spiritualism. I'm really pleased you agree with me. Okay.
I'm sorry, I've always
Me
been
too.
outspoken, and I always say, and yeah, it's a tragedy, and it's because we are all spiritualists, you know. Define spiritualism.
You can't.
You know, it doesn't seem to be to help people grow on their spiritual path. You know, I think you're blessed that you found a circle that was able to teach you and show you protection. Absolutely, opening up, shutting down. So I didn't know this. You like predictions then?
Predictions.
You like, yeah. I've spoke to many a medium that says no, you shouldn't predict, you shouldn't foretell, you shouldn't, and yet you're open to all
I will
of
bring
that.
angels, spirit guides through, fairies, whatever. Okay, because To me, a medium, you will probably agree with this, Sadie, but a medium is a universal communicator. Okay. And, you know, people from other planets, people from other dimensions, fairies, elves, goblins, angels, guides. And I've fallen out with one or two SNU churches that say you can't bring angels through, you can't bring spirit guides through because it's not evidential. Okay. So I've argued the toss it
So,
is because they're telling people exactly what's going on in their lives. And to me,
yeah,
that's evidence in itself. And I had one sort of like
yeah.
one of the most powerful messages I've given from angels. That was at Slough Spirit just about 3 or 4 years ago. And we come to this one woman, and there was a guy in spirit that she couldn't forgive because he was horrible to her. And you know, from the energy I was getting, it's not sort of something we can discuss openly, but he was horrid to her. And he was begging for forgiveness, and she couldn't forgive him. And then these three angels appeared on my left-hand side. I could just sense their energy, and they were telling her why she should forgive. And then all of a sudden, this gold ball of light, this gold ball of energy, come from the centre of an angel. I actually moved out of the way to get out of its way. I actually sort of leant back like that, and it hit her smack straight in the heart, and she went like that, and she burst into tears. And I went, "That's them opening her heart up for her." Okay, and that was beautiful. But angels, spirit guides, fairies, you know, you know, I've always said to people, Stacy, you can give a message off her somebody's sock if you want, because it's got their vibration all over it. All right. Anyway, the other week I was doing this private sitting, and this woman produced her daughter's sock because she wanted to know about her daughter. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
yeah, but predictions, what I always say with that, because spirit will give futuristic messages at times. All right.
mhm.
And I don't believe that they're psychic. I know there's a big debate about that, and I don't really want to get about it, but you know what I'm on about, don't you, Stacey? But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
always say this spirit of giving, this could possibly happen in a few months' time. There's no time in spirit, so they give me the feeling of it, how long it's going
no,
to be. Right, they give me the past feeling as well.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But you have the
yeah,
free will to change that. Or if you don't change the way you
yeah,
are now, you know, life won't improve for you. But I always say you have the free will to change it. It's like when these people, like on lives, will I get married next year? And I don't know. You know what I mean? You know, you can meet somebody else or whatever, you know, or we could dump you. I don't know. That's free will. We cannot interfere with free will. That's sort of like the golden rule. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I a slight different view to you on that because I think we choose certain things
I
before we're
agree. Yeah, I
even
agree.
becoming it. Before we even, there are certain things we are destined to experience for our own
Well, yeah, that's
growth.
very
You know,
much so. And this is very much the point I wanted to bring over because my guides have been talking to me about trying to change perception in people because we talk about life after death, about proving life after death all the time. It's always about after death, but we're actually living our eternal life now because we're a spirit living through a physical body and in a material world. And we have this beautiful connection.
yeah,
And by constantly talking about
yeah.
after death and proving it, we're missing all that out. Okay. And this this is what my guides want me to talk about. So this is why I chose eternity is now. We're living our eternal lives now, folks. You know what I mean? And
We're just on ever. You know, if you think your eternity, your life is, eternal, that's quite a big concept to for your brain to get around. But I would say the way I try and break it down to people is this: you might be on chapter 8 of your eternal life, you might be on chapter 52. This we were born into this life. Yeah, we're born, we live a life, we die, we're reborn. Doesn't really matter
Yeah.
which bloody planet, does it? But we're reborn again and again and again and again until we learn many different lessons in life. So this fixation on proving life beyond the grave is just a drop in the ocean of a massive eternity. But I'll shut up and let you talk. I'll let you talk about your beliefs, because it sounds like we've got
Well, I think
very
me and you
similar
should do
beliefs, me
something
and you.
together one day, but that's getting off the subject. Do talk, whatever, whatever we, spirit will guide. But what I want to say is what my guides have been impressing on me this one address, and I've been going around churches giving this address. And I start off by saying I don't believe in life after death. I believe that all life is eternal. No, sorry, I don't believe in life after death. I know all life is eternal. Believing is following, knowing is connection. I know that I've come to this earth to live through a physical body and the material lessons to learn the lessons that this life has to teach me. And Spirit often teaches us that this life is like one big, this world, this earth plane is like one big comprehensive school. We're all in our different classes. Okay. And we will meet people of higher level of understanding. We will meet people of lower understanding. But Spirit will come along and teach us to be kind, have love, kindness and compassion. And at times, forgive them for the things that they do to us. And to forgive ourselves for the things that we do to others, all the mistakes we make. And there's all these things we're learning. But I truly know that in the essence of Spirit, we are here learning how to love. In truth, I do believe our pathway. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to say believe. All right, I've been conditioned for years to say believe, but I know that I'm here to learn how to love. We are here to learn how to love, and I know that life is a journey of self-discovery. Okay, and we can discover ourselves by opening our minds and opening our hearts and speaking our truth through an open heart. But let me go to the quote, which I think is a very powerful quote from Silver Birch. If anybody doesn't know who Silver Birch is, he was a spirit guide that come through in trance through Maurice Barbanel, and in the circle he would do Q&A with them, and they put the questions and answers into books. These books are on Amazon, so if you want to read up on Silver Birch, folks, they're available on Amazon. But in this one book I've got of his, he was asked, how can you teach me to become a medium? How can you teach me how to become a clairvoyant? And Silver Birch answered, I can't teach you how to come that. I can't teach you how to become a medium or clairvoyant, but what I can teach you, or what I can tell you, is to love your neighbour as yourself. Seek to serve and uplift. Okay, and in that way, you are expressing the divine will of the Great Spirit, and that is the highest phase of mediumship. And that is what I work to now, okay? Because a lot of people think spiritual development's learning about how to pick up and give off spirit communication, like from loved ones or guides or angels or fairies, whatever. That's about that much of it, okay? The rest of it is our own self-development, how we are within, okay? And raising our energy and raising our vibration within. Now, I'm often saying to people, spiritual development is not for wimps, and it's not. Okay, because there's times when you don't really feel like being loving, kind, compassionate, or forgiving, and life will be really tough, and you really want to be nasty to the person that's hurt you, and you don't want to forgive, okay, and everything like that. Or you feel, you know, you don't want to love, you don't want to be kind, you don't want to forgive, whatever. That's when life will test you. That's when life will bring you these lessons. But what I want to say, quote, Spirit told me this, and to quote the great John Lennon song, Imagine, there are no problems, only solutions. Okay? Spirit come along and teach us that there are solutions to every problem. Rather than dwelling in that negativity of hurt and bitterness and heartbreak or whatever, betrayal, whatever's affecting us, let's step on the back foot and say to ourselves, what is this teaching us? And that removes us from dwelling on the problem, just looking at the solution. And in doing so, we learn so much. We learn so much about ourselves, and we become better people within, and it raises our energy, it raises our vibration. And in doing so, we can communicate with higher levels of spirit. Okay? That's on the communicative side of it. But it's sort of like, as the old saying goes, we can't take our money, our houses, our fast cars with us, but what we do take is our experiences and our memories. Okay, so let's try and learn from what life is teaching us. Okay, and sadly, usually the teaching comes in the bad bits, not the good bits. Okay, but we must always look at our own behaviour as well. Well, what have we done to life? I'm often saying, it's not life affecting us; it's us affecting life. Okay, everybody sees as life as on the external, don't they? All right, but life is really happening on the inward, in your mind and your heart. So
yeah,
go on.
Do you know what
Sorry, Stacy.
Stephen, say to people, love what you do, but do what you love.
Yeah. So
that will internally make you happier, at peace, therefore be a better person to other people around you. If you have got inner peace and happiness, it flows out of you. It's like a chain reaction.
It is, yeah.
Isn't it? If you're angry, if you're doing a job you don't like and you're going to work every day, and that negative will rub off. So what you need to do is do what you love.
Yeah, I agree 100% there. I've been learning that lesson myself with my last job. It was just causing me so much stress and everything like that. And all the meditations of being in the moment weren't working. So I decided to leave the job. Now no stress, no anxiety. You know what I mean? And I've just been led straight into a job, which is still social healthcare, but it's a lovely job. But living life on the inward, if we can step back on the back foot and say, what is the most loving, kind and compassionate and forgiving solution to this? And as Stacy says, do what you love. And that will just rub off. But we must also remember to be kind, compassionate, loving and forgiving to ourselves. That's also a major part of spiritual development, soul development, eternal development. Okay. And if you're feeling down, low, whatever reason, be kind to yourself. So many people, I mean, I think a lot of people probably say this to you, Stacey, I don't love myself. Or you deal with people, there's a lot of people saying I don't love myself. But spend some time loving yourself, doing the things that you love. Again, Stacey, whether it's, like watching Coronation Street or going down the pub, no matter what it is, do what you love. Put your favourite tunes on, whatever, but love yourself. And in whatever given situation, know that you've tried, you've done your best or whatever. Be compassionate to yourself. Be forgiving to yourself. All these, there's a great many lessons in all of that, not only for others, not what we give outwardly, but how we perceive inwardly as well. And it's something that we haven't got time to discuss fully in this chat, but know that you are spirit living in a physical body, in a material world, and we're here to learn, we're here to discover ourselves, we're learning how to love. We're only here for a short time, okay? In eternity, we're only here we're only here for a short time. That body will die and we will go on to the level of spirit that we've created, okay? So that was another good talk from Lee. He was saying there's no heaven, there's no hell. You go to the heaven or hell you create. Okay, so we're creating that on this earth at the moment. And I think, it's like when Red Cloud speaks to me. He talks to people about individually, but he talks about the collective evolution of the human race as well. So
Mhm.
there is all this teaching and awareness coming from spirit. It's where we're ready to receive it. We've got to be prepared to act on it, okay, and to make it our way of life and put it into our spiritual practice. And there's something I was going to say, Stacy, but I've forgotten. You've got to forgive me. I'm 62 now. But yeah, what I've always loved about spiritualism is we don't go thumping on people's doors, trying to convince them that we're right. We live by spirit
Yeah.
teachers.
I'm
Spirit.
good. Why not been why have I been doing that?
You haven't been around thumping on people's doors.
I'll be going around with a bat, yes, trying to knock some sense into people.
Yeah, but
Wake
you can
up.
get arrested for that. Okay. Yeah, okay, all right, but that's sort of like a downside to it. But I think
If you
sorry, go on.
but if you look at the history of spiritualism, we've kind of moved on quite a lot, really. Do you know what I mean? In the last
I think so.
100
Yeah.
years, we so it's going to take a while, but people
I
becoming
agree. I
aware.
think more people are becoming aware, more people are asking questions. People are moving away from orthodox religions and stuff like that, and getting away, and looking for the more spiritual, the true honest. And like I said, we've all got this connection. We don't have to go to a medium. We don't have to go to a vicar. All right. That's all there within us. And if we open that connection up through prayer, I said the dreaded word prayer, that's religious. It's not religious. Spirit communicates to us in thought. If we break prayer down, it's thought. Okay? Spirit speaks to us in emotion. I know. So you don't have to sit down by your bed like a child and put your hands together to pray, but just send out your thoughts to your loved ones, to your spirit guides if you're aware of them, or whatever, or whichever name you call God. Send out your thoughts that sooner or later that answer will come back if you're aware enough to receive it.
Yeah.
Okay, because it comes in the slightest little ways sometimes. But as I was saying, spirit teachers to live by example rather than going on thumping on people's doors and all the rest of it. A young lady, funnily enough, I got a message from a young lady the other night who was a Seventh-day Adventist, and she said, would you like me to tell you would you like to watch a video on how families can be together forever in eternal life? So I said, well, I'm a Christian spiritualist medium. No, thank you. But I sent her my blog on why Jesus is a universal teacher and that he's saving the human race by teaching us universal love and life. I just got back, no worries. But yeah. It is a way of life, and I think if we can realise that we are here learning, and we are learning how to love, and it's a journey of self-discovery. We are free to become whatever we want. This is an awakening in itself, because we're all preconditioned in our own way, aren't we? But just to be ourselves in whichever way we choose, you know what I mean? And learn from that, whatever we choose, whatever path we choose to create. Then we are truly learning. Right. I've written
Have
2
you written
books. Right, okay.
talk to
The
me
first book is
about
Messenger, and that's about my early beginnings in spiritualism, about some of when I first started going out on a platform, some of my ups and downs in life, because people don't realise mediums have got lives as well. And I've been divorced like most people, and I've got 2 children, and I was a security officer for 30 years, worked the doors, everything, so I haven't sort of led the bog standard life that a lot of mediums have. But yeah, that was my particular journey of discovery, and some of my poems in it in it, and I've also transcribed some of the spirit teachings what spirit have given through me, because I've watched the videos back and written the good bits down, and as you do, and I put them in the book. My second book, Reflections, is totally my poetry, and I'm writing a third, which is called Shine, and that's a year in the life of. So it's all my ups and downs and my service to spirit, but spirit have been impressing on me and talking to other mediums as well. What they've been getting from their guides, same as me, is they're asking us to shine. So I'm writing about that developmental journey. Thank you.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. But let me put this to you. Why have you not written a book about... No, okay, I'll shut up. There's a fourth book coming. There's a
Oh,
fourth
blimey,
book
let me get the
coming
third
from
one
you.
done first. I'm only on page 14. Thank
Yeah,
Yeah, thank
sorry,
you. No, you
I'll shut
carry
up.
on. All right, I love getting a message when I'm not supposed to be anyway, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I've just I'm like, hold on a minute, what the hell? Yeah, I'm not yeah, I've just had a message about your future, and all I'm going to say
Thank
is there's
you.
a fourth
No,
book
look, I
coming.
love writing anyway, so yeah. I look forward to
You know, I've a poetry book because
Yeah.
I write poems. You know, it's a good
It is,
it's a
you
good
escape
release.
into that poem, and what I find with poetry writing is I'll like get a line in my head, whether it's my own thought or spirits, and then sometimes I'll spend a day writing it, or sometimes I'll spend like 2 minutes writing it. But sometimes it's
Yeah.
that escape of working out what the next couple of three words are going to be. And sometimes that can take
Mm-hmm.
hours or days. You know what I mean? Or or my best received poems seem to be the ones that I've written in about 2 minutes. You know, but
Mm.
there's spirit guided ones there, and there's you know from my own perceptions of life, the things that have happened to me and how I see it and things like that. But yeah, a fourth book, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know, the thing is, my mouth works
Mine
quicker
doesn't
than
talk,
my
yeah.
mind. So you know, if I get a message, my mouth's working, and then my brain's
Yeah,
going, whoa, 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 whoa. He might not even
yeah, hang
know
about.
this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for telling me. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah. Yeah. I nearly the subject nearly fell out of my lips as well. Like, because yeah, shut up, Stacy. Yeah. You know, it's I don't want to plant the seed. It needs to come from
Yeah,
you, what you're going to
I
write
haven't got a
about.
Scooby right
But
now, to
spirit,
be honest. So yeah, so it will come. I know it will come. But
it will-
yeah, it's just people over the years been saying to me, write a book. So funnily enough, I was diagnosed with diabetes 2, and I lost 6 stone in weight. All right, I put about 3 of it back on, but people said you should write how you lost weight for the diabetes. So I wrote a blog about it. And then a few people said to me, you should turn that into a book. So I don't know. The guys come along and said, well, put about your beginnings in spiritualism, because I just feel that spiritual protection is not really taught. Okay. So I put my experiences in detail, and and about the diabetes, about a few ups and downs as well. I've turned it into one book with me poems, and the next book, the guide said to me, put all your poems in one book, so that's what I did. Um, they give me the idea for the third book, you know. So yeah, I left school with a grade 5 CSE, and they only give in English, and they only gave me that because so I didn't leave school with nothing. But now I'm sitting here writing and writing and
oh,
writing,
bless you.
You know?
I feel like we ourselves put limitations on
Yeah,
ourselves, you know. So you've lifted limitations, you know, because I think we all kind of say, oh, I can't do that, or I don't know how, I don't, and we block ourselves. But if you actually say, I
yeah,
can, I will, I am, you
that's
can
right.
achieve
Yeah.
anything.
First of all, with the writing, I just enjoy it, and then people saying that I've written 100, oh, just over 100 poems in 30 years. So people started saying, "Oh, that's really good. You should try and publish," but publishers wouldn't publish because I weren't well known. So then Amazon Kindle come along, and the sky was the limit. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to get spiritual knowledge out there. I wanted to get spiritual teaching out there.
I think sharing
Yeah,
the knowledge is
I agree
really
because it is a spirit
important.
teaching that all knowledge should be shared. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I do lessons on this page
Yeah.
for these guys, because I, if anyone can be a
Yeah.
tool and work for, and pass on and see things. I hear you do crystal
No,
ball
that was just we
information.
did crystal ball once in circle, and I saw a lady clearly in it. And then I don't know, about
Yeah,
6 years ago, a friend gifted me a crystal ball. I've tried a couple of times to look in it, but failed. So I don't do crystal ball. What I do is I'm a trance healer. That is my main thing because spirit were nagging
yeah,
me. Remember, you're a trance healer. All this platform work. Remember, you're a trance healer. So I'm getting back into doing that again, and I could do that. Obviously, platform mediumship and all that comes with that. Um, trance.
do you do
Sorry,
psychic surgery then? Do you do psychic
that's been asked me many
surgery?
times. People have described it as psychic surgery, but I don't think it is. I don't know
Why?
because reading the psychic news when I was a lad, right, you know, like the psychic surgeons were putting their fingers actually inside the body, but spirit don't need to do all that, do they? They can just channel the energy. I remember one of the first years ago now, is when I was living at home with mum and dad. I put, you know, all part of this, we need you on the platform and all this. I put an advert in the paper, Stephen Rowlands, spiritual healer, medium. And this up just up the road from us was some almshouses and built in 1649. One of the old ladies booked an appointment with me for healing, and her knee was sort of like that. Okay, so anyway, my guys come through and me give her healing, and it had visibly shrunk to normal after that 15, 20 minutes of healing. So they use energy to affect the physical. So in that way, you can say, yes, it is psychic surgery without the putting the fingers in the body and all the rest of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody wants to call it something, but I don't feel like the heading that you guys, you know, I don't think it does. It doesn't do it justice,
Now, can you
does it?
say that question from the start? Because it come up and says it's been paused, and I press resume, and anyway, no, somebody
You
paused it
paused
or
it.
something happened, but I've resumed it now, and I got half the question.
Spirit obviously paused it because they didn't want me to say that what you class as your gift, I don't feel it does it justice. We've all got to put a label on
Yeah,
everything, yeah. And I think what you do is far greater than, because people toss around the word I'm you know, I'm a healer, I'm a healer, I'm a healer. I think you do far more than just
yeah.
healing,
I
you
describe
know.
myself as a spirit channel. Rather than gifts, I describe it
Mm,
as awareness. Awareness to those who
yeah,
wish to do whatever through me. Um, You know, but I don't like labels because people are calling themselves some fantastic names these days. All right. Not reading their names, you feel like you've written a book, you know, but read a book, you know. But you know, angelic Reiki, so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so. 2 hours later, you got to the end. You know what I mean? Or they're giving themselves nicknames and all that. Just give you the name you were just put your name out as what you were given in your christening. There you go. You don't get a spirit guide coming to you and say, "Well, my name's Red Cloud, but you can call me, you know, the Groovy Bird or something." You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. You know. All right. I'm a joker as well, Stacy. But yeah. But yeah, there is too much labels. Yes, I do platform mediumship. Um, yes, I'm a channel for healing in trance. Yes, I work in trance to bring spirit forward. I can use different tools, but I just class it all under one spirit channel or Stephen Rowlands. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So what have you got coming up for your future then? What have you got
Well, I've got to write a fourth
in the
book.
pipeline?
You know. Now, the next thing tomorrow, I'm serving Hinton Road. Doing a service there, divine service. Now, me and a friend of mine, Kevin Trevroy, who's a brilliant medium, me and him done a Zoom the other week, and we had a couple of people from Harrogate on there. They said, "Oh, you come highly recommended." Our booking secretary said, because she'd seen me working and that. Don't worry, this is not going to be one of them big-headed things, all right? And so anyway, me and him done the demonstration. He done the address and we done the demonstration. And I just happened to mention that me and the wife are going on holiday to York next week. And they've invited me to demonstrate trance healing at Harrogate Spiritualist Healing Church. Right. So the things that what I want to say is basically, yeah, I'm doing services. Oh, you're interviewing me on October the 1st, didn't you? You may, I'll bet you cancel now. Right. But anyway, what, right.
Let me look. Yes, I am
Yeah,
on
no, I'm
my
looking forward
page.
to that
Yeah,
actually. But
October 1st.
what I want to say is without going, yeah, because I've got my own thoughts and I'm outspoken like you are, and but I've known people they want to meet the right people and get in the right places and all this. I just let it roll. I just feel my whole life, and I know you do as well, Stacey, is that you're guided by spirit and things just come along. If I haven't got a book in for the next couple of 3 weeks, don't worry, because I know something will come up. Spirit will put me where they want me. You know, I just allow it to roll. I don't chase churches or
Yeah,
centres for bookings. You'll rarely see me advertise. You know,
I'm not
I'll
allowed.
say to people what I'm doing, but that's it. You know. I remember I had a
Yeah,
friend once, an ex-friend, and it was her idea. Me and her I created a Facebook page called Spiritual Ways, but she never ever posted on it. And it was me that was posting on it every day. And then one day, Ray, whatever his name, I forget his name, Ray Williams, is it, from Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, shared the page, and she phoned me up, and she said Ray Williams has shared the page. I said, "Oh, great," like that, and she said, "There's no mention of me in it anywhere." And I said, "Well, your name's in the introduction and that you do Reiki healing, all right?" "Yeah, but there's no mention of me anywhere." I said, "Hang on a minute." I said, "Hang on a minute. You've never posted once. You never put like any memes up or any thoughts or anything like that. So that's why you're invisible on there." Okay. I said, if you wanted to, you phone him up now and introduce him to me. Yeah. I said,
oh
no,
my
I'm not.
God.
If you want him to know about you, you phone him up yourself. You know.
Yeah,
And I couldn't
yeah.
believe it, to be honest. So yeah, there's people like that out there as well. Right,
There's a
but
lot
whereas,
like
you
that
know, the
out
likes
there.
of me, you, and quite a lot of others, or many others, will just let it roll. You know, because one thing that was
Yeah,
drummed into me
yeah,
and circled by my teacher Berenice was wait until you're asked. Yeah, and that's what I go on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
rather than sort of chasing people around, you know.
Yeah. I work the same way as you. I mean, a lot of my work before the dreaded COVID,
Yeah,
word of
the
mouth.
good old way, yeah.
I would, I would, I wouldn't, I would not advertise myself, do anything. Word of mouth got me the work I had to, because I was guided by spirit. So, you know, through this pandemic and going online and doing things, but what I like is, like, for instance, today, I've been and done an event today. I've read for 8 people today, and those 8 people will go off and talk about what they heard from me today. Because I give obviously past, evidential, present, and future. So I don't just sit there and go, this is going to happen to you. This has already happened to you. You know, you went through this in your past. It's evidential. But those 8 people will go and talk. So, and they will tell their friends, and whoever needs a reading off of me, Spirit will make sure that they can connect to me, because I offer a completely different thing to what you offer. And that's what I like. We all bring something different to the table.
We all bring whatever. See, this is what I keep trying to explain to people, is that when spirit choose to work through you, they like something about you. Don't change you, just be you. Because they want that vibration to work through. If you're trying to turn yourself into something else, like working to a formula or something like that, it won't work. You know, just be yourself, you know.
No. You are unique. You are not a
That's
carbon
right,
copy
yeah.
of anything.
That's right. And it does get me down to a certain degree when I see mediums working to a formula. You know, it's just, I just think, well, you know, just relax, just go out there and do it. Because I used to be incredibly shy, believe it or not. And it was doing platform work that brought me out of myself. That's it.
Pushed your boundaries.
Yeah.
So I'd like that, to be outside the zone. See, I find you a very approachable person. Easy to talk to.
Thank you. Well, we're universal communicators, Stacy. It's no good if we're clammed up. It's like somebody said to me a few years ago, you're the only medium that talks back to us. You know what I mean? Because that a medium will post something and they'll get loads of comments, but they won't reply to one of them. You know what I mean?
I know.
Even if it's just thank you for all your kind words, you know, you've got to put something, haven't you? But yeah, it's you've got to be engaging with people. You can't just sort of like, I'm a medium, darling, lovely. I'm going to sit here in my ivory tower. You lot are my minions that, you know, you pay for the tickets or whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, right, shut me up, Stacey. I'm sort of like, you know.
Hey, you're going to hang yourself. I'm doing it with you, mate. I constantly give myself enough rope with my mouth to get myself into trouble.
Yeah, the gallows is built for us. You know? Yeah. But yeah, it's to my way of thinking. Same as yours probably. You know, where I come from, it's all word of mouth. In the days before Facebook and email and everything like that,
yeah,
you know, I wrote round churches, or somebody would give them my number, and word of mouth. And I was just as busy as I am now.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I think with COVID, Zoom and Facebook Lives, it's sort of like a sword of Damocles. It's a double-edged sword, you know what I mean?
Very double-edged sword. But I've got to take a positive and think, Spirit want me to work this way because I can reach a person I wasn't able to reach.
That's it.
3 years ago, for whatever it is, you know. So if we've been pulled in this direction. Not we, meaning me and you,
The
but we
collective,
as in
yeah.
the general. We've been pulled in this direction for a reason, and I have to look at a positive that, if I can help someone and give them hope, that I wouldn't necessarily have been able to reach 3 years ago because I wasn't doing lives, etc. I've got to take
And they're the
positive
same
from
positives I take from it as well. Because you meet and you speak to, or you give
it.
readings to, or give healing to people who you never would have met in a million years before it. So there's that.
Yeah,
But I don't want to talk about the
yeah,
downside of it. Let's keep it up negative. The positive. I mean, positive. But yeah, But yeah, I think COVID has brought British spiritualism out to the world, and I love that. It's brought the teachings of the spiritual world. Now, I call platform mediums like myself the swirly bow tie brigade. All right, I include myself in that.
right,
All right, right. The swirly bow tie's going. I'll give you messages from your loved ones and all the rest of it. But the teachings of spirit can now go right around the world, not just to sort of like 20 people in a church. They could go right around, or 30 people on a live.
absolutely,
Some were in America or Australia, Denmark or wherever, or Winchester where I live, and all that. So yeah, and it's sort of like that's why I make the point. Like tomorrow, I'm doing a similar to this. I just do chat and Q&A, or I do a trance where my guys can answer questions and give a talk. That knowledge should be getting out there, and I know it's just not my wife sitting there listening to it. There are people all over the place. You know what I mean? But yeah, yeah.
so that there are many countries out there that are
Yeah,
envious
I
of
think
us.
we're very lucky. I think, I know our teaching is about humbleness and humility and that, but give ourselves a pat on the back. From what I've seen, we British spiritualism is to a high standard, and
Yeah,
we're seeking to
yeah,
raise them standards, which is good, you know.
yeah,
But those messages have got to be given with love and compassion and to uplift, because
absolutely,
the one thing
absolutely.
I've been sort of saying to a lot of people for quite a while now is, um, I'll bring a communicator through. I'll give the evidence so that that communicator knows who, so the recipient of the message knows who I'm talking about, who I'm communicating with. But then that communicator's got a
Yeah,
message for that person. So I'll give that message. It's just not all evidence, evidence, evidence. It is that loving message from
yeah,
that loved one, friend, or whatever, their dog, But
yeah.
yeah, so we've got to make room for giving the messages
It's
of love and guidance from spirit
it's
as well
so
as the
funny.
evidence.
You said then about a dog, right? And I was, like I said, I was at this event today, and as I walked through the event, there was this little Scotty dog, right? So I bent down and I went, "Hello, how are you? You're beautiful, you are." And do you know that dog? I'm going to sound crazy now to people that don't understand how communication works in the spirit world, but that dog turned around and said to me, in my head, obviously, not through its mouth, I used to be a man. I used to walk this earth as a man, and now I'm a bloody dog, and I can't talk normally like I used to. And I just
I bet,
burst out
yeah,
laughing. I said to him, I said mentally, I said to him, but that's what you picked when
yeah,
you decided to come back. You decided to with this dog, and look how many people stop and show you love. And he went, yeah, I suppose. And that was it. It was just like, and I was like, oh my God. If people understood the
yeah.
conversations I
I
have
even
with
give a guy a message once
it
from his
makes,
two budgies. There you go. Um, but
yeah,
they speak vibrationally. It's It's a different energy to how a human, or was a human, used to would communicate with, but at different levels. I remember this big argument years ago saying, some people believe that, animals didn't go over to spirit. Yes, of course they do. And we used to call it the animal kingdom years ago, but but I don't think there's much different vibrationally between the animal kingdom and the human race. If anything, I'd say they were slightly higher than us. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I can remember the arguments years ago about whether animals communicate or not. Of course they can. They just communicate in a slightly different way, that's all. But
I'm blessed to converse with me. They put their thoughts in my head and I pick up and receive their messages very easily. I'm blessed. But yeah, of course they go on to the other side. It's crazy. Why I don't understand this segregation that, oh no, that's not, oh no, oh no, everything has to be separate. They don't go to anywhere. Sod off. Like I said, don't like labels.
Exactly, yeah. Spirits. Yeah, I'm the same as you. I don't like labels. Yeah. But in this world, in this material world, we have to classify everything. But like I say, I don't give myself a big long name. I'm Stephen Rowlands Spirit Channel. All right.
And
thank you. Likewise. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the time is. I've really enjoyed talking with you this evening.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
I look forward to
brilliant.
First.
Brilliant. Yeah, I look forward to that. We'll have a good chat. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You have a think about what you want to talk about. But everybody, this has been Stephen. He is a fascinating man, and I love your energy.
Thank you. You have a beautiful energy too. I'm not just saying that because you're very easy to talk to as well.
Well, my mother used to say I could talk the hind legs off a donkey.
Yeah. Now, why doesn't that surprise me? But I could sort of like say I didn't know meet you in a coffee shop and come and sit next to you. In 5 minutes, we'd be talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I talk to everyone.
Yeah.
Because I'm in people. I'm interested. I want to hear their stories. I want to hear about their life. I love hearing and listening to everybody's, adventure that they've had in this lifetime. I'm just nosy, Stephen.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you. And I look forward to October the 1st. Thanks for doing this with me, Stacy. It's been a real pleasure. All right.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
And goodbye, everybody. See you again soon.
Yeah, take care.
Take care,
God bless.
everyone.
Bye-bye.